It's working. Yeah, that's how I feel. Sometimes I say dumbass shit.
Hello.
Doesn't listen to me ever. Doesn't ever listen to me. Doesn't ever listen to me. Doesn't ever listen to me.
Who?
Me. See?
Who doesn't listen to
You.
Welcome back to Slightly Sauced.
Number 7.
Podcast number 7.
Today's going to be a little bit more serious, people.
It's going to be deep today. We're going to get real deep.
A little bit deep. If I cry, forgive me.
Are you going to cry?
I might.
You big baby.
Today we're going to talk about therapy.
Therapy.
Mental health.
Something I've always been against, which as I get older, slowly getting better.
We're going to get into that.
Yep, we'll get into it.
So, we're going to talk about therapy. We're going to talk about the stigma around therapy. We're going to talk about, whether or not you believe in therapy, finding the right therapist, which is very fucking important, online versus in person, recognizing your own toxic traits, deflection versus reflection, and some other little added in shit. What's your thoughts on therapy? What do you believe in it or no?
I never used to. I'm still kind of iffy about it, but yeah, the older I get, the more I'm like kind of considered it. Because I used to be like 100% like, man, fuck that. I'm not telling anybody my fucking problems. What are they going to tell me that I already don't know? Blah, blah, blah.
I recall you being that way.
Yeah.
I've always been an avid, I believe in getting help for your mental health. I believe in going to therapy. I believe in an unbiased third party of your life, helping you create tools to better yourself that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before, maybe you wouldn't have put too much thought into as far as like really going for it, like really trying.
Right.
So, there's a stigma around therapy that, 20 years ago, somebody who needed therapy would be considered like a crazy person. Like, you are so fucked up in the head, you need to go talk to a therapist. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I remember when I changed my major from nursing to psychology, there were certain people in my family that were just like, 1, there's no money in that. 2, like, you're not a real doctor. Shit like that. But I grew like a love for the psyche, and
I fucking hated when you were doing that class.
Why?
Because you would pick everything apart and you would blame shit on like that.
There's so many reasons for why people do what they do.
And I'm like, bro, stop. I remember you went through like a milk phase, a dairy phase when you were going through that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, stop.
Oh, I had like a sociology class and they made us watch Earthlings. And I think that's what's called, Earthlings. And it showed like the dairy, the dairy farm and what those cows go through in order to produce milk, and like the fact that it's not even fucking good for you. It's gross. It's full of pus and bacteria. And why are we drinking another animal's titty milk anyways? I don't know, dude. I love milk too. That's the problem. I came home. This was fucking years ago. Came home. I'm like, we're not drinking milk anymore. Get the milk out of the fridge.
I know, you were like fucking psycho. I'm like, bro.
I think I dumped out a full gallon of milk.
You probably did some weird shit like that.
So back then it was just like, dude, if you're going to therapy, you got some fucking real issues. Like, no chance. And then it phased into like, if you go to therapy, like this therapist, like exactly what you said, like, what are they going to tell me that I can't tell myself? Like, I'm just telling my problems to somebody for no fucking reason. Like, right. Plus I got to come out of pocket money for it. And then there was a time where you couldn't get therapy unless you had insurance, because paying out of pocket for it was like $200 an hour or some crazy shit like that. Well, now there's a plethora of options. Plethora, putrid, what other words do I use that you don't know?
Absurd amount, I don't know.
Neanderthal. So it's also a thing that you have to find the right therapist. If you are in a place in your life where you are moving towards getting help, seeking help, you feel like you need it, you feel like you hit rock bottom, whatever is the case that brings you to looking at therapy as an option, keep in mind that finding the right therapist is like crucial. Because your first session of therapy ever, you could end up with just one of those therapists that just like is literally telling you things that you could tell yourself. They're not giving you anything to practice when you go through shit. They're not giving you any type of mental thought. They're literally just like, yes, okay, we'll avoid people like that. I'm like, okay,
Thanks
okay,
for the
thank you.
Yeah. See,
So,
and that's what I've always thought it was gonna be like. I mean, I've never done therapy, so I don't really know, but I've always thought it would be like, oh yeah, that's as simple as like, we'll stop hanging out with people like that. We'll stop doing that, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
count to 3 when you have anxiety. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, keep in mind, if you are in like a search for therapy, you could easily go through 2 or 3 therapists to find one that you match with, that vibes with you, that understands what you're saying, and that will actually put forth, like, just like in every profession, there's people that love their job, that have a passion for it, and there's people that literally are just doing it for a paycheck, which therapists don't make that much on why you're doing that. But
it depends on how many clients you have.
And also, they say that you have a breakthrough with your therapist at one point if you see them long enough. And I read somewhere that typically it's around like the 12-week mark is when you'll really have a breakthrough. And for me personally, because I have done therapy.
What is a breakthrough?
A breakthrough is when you come to like a massive realization of all the shit that's going on in your life. Mm-hmm. And you have a breakthrough with your therapist as far as like, holy shit, this is why I'm feeling the way I feel. We have gotten to the point of like, you have pinpointed my issues, made me realize them, made me, reflect on them. And now I see why I came to therapy. Mm-hmm. And then it opens up a closer connection to you and your therapist so that you could literally tell them anything. Because a lot of people are reserved starting off, I'm sure. But when I found my therapist, that's pretty much verbatim what happened. I started off therapy. First time I ever met this woman, I cried my eyes out. Like I saw her face and I literally just started bawling.
And you were doing it. Yours was all virtual, right?
I did mine online. Yeah. I actually used BetterHelp. I heard it on my favorite podcast and I literally was going through some shit in my life. And I was just like, this is it. I need fucking help, because talking to my family members doesn't help, because I feel like I was keeping certain things out that were bothering me, talking about my problems and like what kind of mental turmoil I was going through. And talking to your friends just doesn't hit the same, because there's friends that are just going to tell you what they think you need to hear. And I finally had hit a point where I'm just like, I need an unbiased professional opinion, somebody that is not going to judge me, that is just simply here to listen to my fucking problems. I could vent to her and not shut up for an hour straight. If that's what I need. Whether I needed to talk, I needed her to give me an exercise to do, something.
So what was your, like, when you would do exercise, like what would an exercise be if you did that?
So she sent me basically an article about how to communicate with your loved ones by using specific words like I and you, or I'm sorry, like I instead of like you do this and you do this. Start saying it more of like, I feel this way when this happens. Try not to like point the finger at somebody, because that will cause aggression, and comparing yourself like that never works out very well. I wonder if I sound stupid right now.
Why?
But basically she would send me articles about like this is what you're saying is coming off the wrong way because of the way you're saying it. What are you laughing at?
I was just laughing the way you were rubbing your eye. Right?
Like this?
you were just like zombie down. I don't know. It's funny.
Does the hoodie look ridiculous?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Where's my sunglasses at?
No, fuck off.
Do you have sunglasses here?
I do, yeah. In my
Where
room.
are they?
In my room.
Go get them.
No, you're not putting
I need to put sunglasses on.
No, you don't.
I need them.
No.
I can't continue.
You have to leave now.
I'm going to go get the sunglasses.
No, you're not.
Okay, fine.
Sit your ass down.
I have anxiety. But that was the main reason I went, was for anxiety. It got to the point where it just felt like it was crippling me. Mm-hmm. I would just wake up with this uneasy feeling in my chest and in my stomach, and I just could not function correctly, and I could not figure out what the fuck was going on. And it was just like my mind was going 1,000 miles an hour all day long. Mm-hmm. Anybody would say one little thing, and I would just like overanalyze the fuck out of it. Like, just as simple as like somebody walking by and saying something, I'd be like, what did they really mean by that though? What the fuck? So then I went to therapy, and she gave me multiple ways to handle that, but I feel like the best was just telling her how I felt. telling her what I had gone through in my life that made me feel a certain type of way about certain things. And she helped me break down those walls and rebuild the way I look at situations, so that when I do get anxiety, there's things I know I can do, which for me, it was literally just taking a fucking step back, knowing that I have my own boundaries. I don't owe anybody fucking anything. So if I'm in a situation where I'm starting to get anxious, back the fuck up. That's it. I'll just separate myself for a little bit, take a breather, like really process what I'm about to say before I say it, instead of like owing myself to a situation or people. Like now I don't feel like I have to be in a situation with people because that's like a normal social thing. Like if I'm starting to feel anxious, I know myself better than that. I gotta go or else it's gonna be a bad time or whatever. So I got lucky with her because I think I really did find the right therapist for me, and I could just vent to her about anything. I used to not even be able to walk into a grocery store. Do you remember when I used to have meltdowns at the grocery store?
No.
It was like the amount of people being in the line at the grocery store, and like when I get up to the when I get up to the cashier and like I'm getting my change, like even just that little moment of like trying to put my change in my purse before I fucking walk away with the cart, and like there's just so much fucking shit going on, and in my head it's like times 100.
What the fuck?
Normal people are having a normal interaction. It's just the fucking grocery store, but I'm hyperventilating inside because I'm just like, everybody's looking at me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting hot. I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of the grocery store. There's been times where I will leave the cart in the grocery store and just bounce.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Still?
No.
Oh, I'm like there's no way you can still do that.
No.
Yeah, I've never had anxiety like that, but I definitely have anxiety. I just feel like I run on anxiety all the time anyway. I feel like as I get older, I've learned how to deal with it a little better.
Yeah.
But
that could have been it too. Me growing older and being in therapy, like everything kind of just came into itself. But online versus in person, for me, I felt like online was the right move because I could do it in the comfort of my own home. I could see her right there on the screen, having a conversation with her, but I was comfortable.
Yeah,
nobody was around me.
You're in your own environment, so yeah. I feel like sitting in. Now that I think about it, I actually did go to therapy when I was younger. I had one of my exes a long time ago tell me, like when I was young, said that I was bipolar, and it made me like question, like maybe if I was. So I went to therapy. I went to two of them. So I went to this one guy, and then he sent me to another guy, and that's probably what really set me. I don't know why I just thought all this. That's probably what really set me off to where I'm like, dude, fuck therapy. Like
I met you not long after that.
Yeah, and so I went to this one therapist, and he was like legit naming off all the shit that I was going through, like immediately. He was like, "Oh, you probably like lost a girl recently because of your anger and blah blah blah," and it was true. Like that was kind of true, and so we had that little weird therapy session, and then he referred me to another guy, and then when I went there, we did the thing, and he just read from a book, and he was asking me questions to like see if I was bipolar or whatever. It just asked me weird questions like yes or no, and then he determined that I wasn't bipolar, which I don't believe I am because I don't like flip. You have to like really piss me off. It's not like all of a sudden I
think about
mad.
how young she was when she said that to you.
True.
She was just thinking, oh, sometimes he's really nice and sometimes he's really mean, so he must be bipolar.
Right. Yeah, so we were both super young, and but this guy, like after that, like he was just telling me, he's like, yeah, well, when you come back here, we could play like little games and we'll make it fun. And I'm like, bitch, like what the fuck? I'm not gonna play fucking games with you, like card games with you or something. Like it was just fucking odd. I'm like, yeah, fuck therapy. But yeah, I was also young too, and that was just like you said, you have to find the right person.
Yeah, well, also it's like bipolar is such a umbrella term for like when you flip the switch on anybody, you're gonna be like, whoa, who are you?
Right. Yeah.
There's so many different things. I mean, that's just when I first started going to therapy and I was telling her about my anxiety, she immediately mentioned, have you ever thought about getting on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication? And I told her no, just because you lose a piece of yourself with certain medication. you know, you lose your sex drive sometimes, or you just become a zombie in general. Like, you have no personality. Like, you're not sad, but you also can't reach that level of happiness.
You're just like cloudy.
You're just kind of limbo. And I didn't want that. And then, you know, she was able to enlighten me and teach me that just like a diabetic needs insulin, some people require a little bit of extra help with the chemical imbalance that's going on in their brain. So I accept and understand the fact that some people do need antidepressants, and it's changed their life for the better, but I didn't feel like I was quite at that level that I needed to be on a daily medication. And so she wanted me to go see a psychiatrist and get the test done, which I'm sure is where he referred you to go when you got the bipolar test done.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
okay.
basically. Like a therapist cannot prescribe you. A counselor cannot prescribe you anything, but a psychiatrist can.
Oh, they actually did give me some sort of medication, and it was the craziest shit I've ever. I don't remember what it was called but like when I was younger, I would be even still now, like when I would game, because I used to be like a heavy gamer, so I would just be sitting. I could sit in my chair for hours,
I remember you telling me how fucking.
Yeah, I would never get uncomfortable or anything, and I started taking that medication, and I could not sit. Like, I would be in a position for like 2 seconds, and I would have to move. Like, and it was just like an uncomfortable urge, no matter what I was doing. I could not sleep. I couldn't, and I didn't really know. I'm like, fuck, like what is going on? And it was the weirdest feeling ever to just have like my bones. It was like
bones were
it
like,
was
get
inside.
me out of here.
I just could not get comfortable no matter what I was doing. It was very odd. I don't know what it was. I'm curious of what it was. I wish I like knew. I wonder if
I put you on fucking Zoloft or some crazy shit.
I have no idea, but dude, it was fucking wild.
Well, and then that was another thing that I thought to myself, like, when you wean yourself off of certain medications, it can make you suicidal at that point.
Yeah.
And that was a fear I was not willing to come to face with, because I know myself better than that. And this might sound super dramatic, but I feel like I would be the type of person to off myself if I had leaned on something for so long.
Yeah.
And then it put me in a spiral. I think I would. So I just told her that instead of doing the medication route, I wanted to go the as natural as we could route. Like, I wanted to dig up old shit that I knew I needed to work past. I just didn't know how. And the craziest part about therapy was that she helped me make a bridge relationship between how I felt as a kid and how I deal with things now as an adult. Connections of like, this happened to me, so I look at this person like this because they remind me of what happened to me back then. So now I treat this person how I would have back then. And so she helped me make that bridge to be like, when you feel this way about somebody or something, ask yourself, why am I being triggered? And think about, because you know yourself, you know what you've been through and you know your feelings. So one little thing could happen in the day and all of a sudden something fucked with me, man. And it's just like, what happened back then that makes me so sensitive with shit like this? And that's where you start to unravel all these crazy connections from childhood to adulthood, especially in your 20s, I feel. And I'm glad I did therapy in my younger 20s, because I feel like I can look at life from here on out and be able to process things a little bit faster. Because I know people in their 40s that just say, like, I wish I would have gotten help. I wish I would have understood why I did things long before now. So I feel like I got a little jump start on things, because now I can process and not be so in my head all the time about shit.
Right.
A little bit more mature and not so I definitely prefer online therapy for sure.
Yeah.
And BetterHelp was cool. I got lucky with that therapist, man. And another thing is, you can go to therapy. I went to therapy for 1.5 years, and I was so nervous to get online with her the very last time, because I was thinking to myself, like, I think I'm done with therapy. Like, I feel like I learned all that I can right now, and I'm ready to like go do my thing and not do this once a week anymore. I was going once a week. And so I get online with her and we're looking at each other and we're just like, you know, she's like, how was your week? How was your weekend? I'm talking to her, I'm telling her. And like, mind you, this woman has a giant like page of like from day one to now, like all the things I've gone through. She knows my facial expression. She knows how I talk when I'm feeling a certain way. Even if I think I'm hiding it from her, like, oh, it was a really good weekend. She's just like, okay, what happened? And so that day she's just looking at me and she's like, how's your anxiety? And I was like, honestly, I feel like I can manage this very well now. Like, all the things you've taught me, I'm just very grateful for. I feel like I would have not been able to do this without you. And before I could even say like, hey, I think I'm done with therapy, I just didn't want to hurt her feelings, I guess. I grew emotionally attached to this lady. And she goes, before I could even say anything, she goes, so do you think you're done with therapy? Do you think you're ready to spread your wings? And I just started bawling. I was just like, yeah, I think I'm ready. And she was just like, okay, well, you know where to find me. You have all my information. You're more than welcome to come back if you feel like it. And that's a big part of therapy too. You could go for years, be fine. Something could happen, sets you back, and you go back in. Like, it's not a failure.
Right.
Every step is progress. And so, yeah, I just, I let go of all the things that I thought were so bad about my childhood that really weren't. They weren't bad. And that's why I look at all that stuff as like comedy now. Mm-hmm. I let all that stuff hold me back for so long, but you know, if you let your traumas hold you back, it's only your responsibility. That will be your excuse for the rest of your life if you let your inner feelings hold you back from life. Yeah. So you have to be the one to make that step to change it, whether it's yourself or with a therapist.
Yeah, you got to learn how to deal with your problems and grow. I don't know what I would go in for. Like, I feel like I don't personally need one right now because I don't know what I would go in for. Like, I'm not looking for anything. I don't really feel anxious. And the stuff that does make me feel anxious, it's like I know what I need to do about it.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good place for you mentally.
Yeah, so I don't think I would need one. Not at this moment anyway.
Yeah, when I went in, I had just lost my grandma. Mm-hmm. I felt very distant from my family. I was sick all the time. It was like I couldn't keep food down ever. I was losing a bunch of weight. I was like literally throwing up food every single day. I just had like something going on. And after so long of just feeling lost, I finally was just like, I need to get help or my family's going to lose me and I'm going to lose myself. And so when there was like a questionnaire and it was just like, why do you want to speak to a therapist? Do you feel like hurting yourself? Shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I purposely lied and said like, no, I don't feel like hurting myself. Because if you say yes, they could pick you up.
Yeah, they're going to send you
and fucking ship you off. And then I'd be like losing my job. And that would have put me in a way worse hole. So I was like, no, I don't want to hurt myself. So I absolutely believe in therapy. And then I also put deflection versus reflection. Because I feel like I deflected a lot of things before I reflected on a lot of things. So basically, like, deflection is somebody says something to you that you don't like, you immediately try to spin it and put it back on them instead of thinking like, you know what, I do fuck up in that area. I do not handle that kind of situation well. Mm-hmm. But instead, you're just kind of like, it's like how you treat the people around you. You ever meet just somebody that's just like a complete asshole and you're just like, you must be miserable in your life.
Yeah, something's wrong for sure.
Because they just deflect everything off of themselves like a narcissist. Just like, it's not me. You guys are the problem.
Yeah.
You have to realize at one point what your own bad traits are.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't care because a lot of people assume that they're not the fucking problem. They're not the issue. So yeah they're going to. Yeah.
That's another huge thing about like a breakthrough. When you have that breakthrough, you're just like, oh my God, it's not everybody else. Right. I'm the one putting myself in this scenario to feel this way. Mm-hmm. And it also helps with relationships after that. You know, you look at yourself differently and you can feel where you fuck up and where your problems are that you keep putting on other people. And it makes your relationship healthier with your friends, family, or like an intimate relationship. Like, it's fucking amazing what therapy can do. I really believe that. And so if you're hurting in some type of way, if you're feeling like you just need to talk to somebody, it's just, there's so many options now. Don't ever put yourself in a corner and isolate yourself when there's just so many options, you know? There's a lot of people that will help you out. And it's crazy that I talk about it like that because then I went and got my degree in clinical psych and I don't even use it. Mm-hmm. But I think about it all the time.
Why don't you do it as a little side gig?
I feel like I do at work. I am people's therapist.
What if you get paid for it, though?
It's just, I feel like I'm the type of person to bring home other people's issues with me.
Yeah.
So I'll be going home sad and mopey because I'm just like, oh, you're going through so much, you poor thing.
Yeah, I could never do a job like that. Fuck that.
Yeah, people will come into the bar and it's just like, without meaning to, they'll trauma dump on me. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, man, you should have asked me if I had the fucking mental capacity to handle this conversation right now. Because what if I'm already going through some shit? You don't even give a fuck. You're just fucking bleh, vomit at the mouth. There's been a lot of athletes after their wins lately talking about depression and therapy. Damon posted a clip of a UFC fighter.
Yeah, Patty.
That talked about like that kind of stuff and like changing the way he viewed himself and like loving the person in the mirror instead of hating them. And the words are just so powerful.
Yeah, what he said is gold. I don't know. I definitely go through like ups and downs here and there to where like some days are like really rough where I would want somebody to talk to because I really don't have, I just feel like as being a guy, like you really don't have anybody to talk to. Like your boys will sit there, but I only have like, I have one friend that I'm like close with, but we just don't have conversations like that, you know?
That is a thing amongst men.
It is, yeah.
You guys honestly just use each other as like, let's just go have some guy time. I think secretly you both know like we're going through something and we're just going to go have a good time together as boys, but you don't ever really show your emotion.
Yeah, we would never. And then it's like I could tell my mom about it, but like sometimes I don't want to make her anxious and feel like, you know, I'm going to hurt myself or do something crazy or so yeah, I'll stay away from that and not tell her. So it's like I really have nobody to even fucking express shit to. So yeah, sometimes it is like you get into a deep fucking hole in a deep spot.
That was another cool thing about BetterHelp is like any time of the day I could message my therapist. Even if we didn't have a session scheduled, I could text her and just say like, this just happened and I don't know what the fuck to do. And whether it was like an hour later or, you know, the next day, she would always get back to me and say something. And that was nice too. Just even in that moment of like, there's so much going on and you feel so alone, just sending out that vent text to her.
Right.
This is what I'm feeling and I just feel like a piece of shit and like I feel alone and I'm fucking sick of this shit. Just even sending that out, knowing it was going to her and not like somebody who could use it against me, somebody who really didn't give a fuck, my family who would then do the same as your mom, feel like, fuck, I need to be there for my sister or my daughter or whatever. Like, it's a fucking amazing feeling to have somebody that you can text at any moment. Yeah,
that would be nice to have. I've also learned to like the gym really fucking like clears. I just had like such a chaotic day like last week. Like I think it was Wednesday. It was just everything that could go wrong was going wrong and it was just chaos. And I was like at the point where, you know, I didn't have anybody to call. So I was thinking about calling my mom and I was just like, I don't want to give that to her because she's not going to know what to say. And I was just kind of like, fuck. And then once I finally got home and actually like, then I worked out, the feeling I had after working out to like help myself realize that, you know, like the shit wasn't as bad as it really was. Like it was bad, but it was like shit could be so much worse. And just that relief of like,
yeah, your endorphins kick in.
Yeah, it's just like you almost, it's almost like a meditation because it's just like you have your headphones in and you're just listening to music and you're just in your zone and you're working out and then everything that's released throughout your body that's happening anyway is it was so nice to be able to do that.
I think that's why they say like mind, body, and spirit when they're all in one. Mm-hmm. When you're taking care of all of them, your life just seems so much more light.
Yeah. I've also tried to like journal sometimes because like sometimes there's been points where I'm like, I don't know what to do sometimes. So it's like I've had times like that where I will try to journal. I do have like a journal in there. I've only written in it once, and even Wednesday I try to do that too because I was just going through it, and it's so funny. I like started to write. I wrote like 3 things because I was gonna like explain my day or whatever, and then I like scribbled it out or whatever, and I just put at the bottom. I was just like, I just wanted to say that I'm grateful to have the gym and be like in my life or something like that, because the gym made me feel like so much weight was off my fucking shoulders.
Good. Well, yeah, then you're looking at the paper and you're like, fuck, this is going to take too long to write down. I'm just happy about my life.
That's literally what I did. I'm like, fuck, I don't feel like fucking writing this. I literally scribbled. It's so funny.
It's so funny that you brought up the journal, because I have not touched mine since 2020 during COVID quarantine, and I found it because I'm obviously packing the house. I'm in the middle of a move right now, and I opened it up, and the last time I wrote, it was like, day 15 of quarantine. I'm losing my fucking mind. I've started painting. And I just go through, and I'm in there. I write down, this is my music taste right now. And I wrote down like bands and groups and people that I was listening to every day. Uh-huh. Looking back on that I can't believe it's been fucking 2 years already. Looking back on that, I was just like, what the fuck? I don't like this band anymore. I don't do this anymore. I'm not with this person anymore. Like, but it's cool to look back. So then I tried to do an entry, and I literally write down like a paragraph of shit. And then my sister showed up. So I closed the book, put it away. And then on my way over here today, I was going to bring my laptop, walk in. My journal's right on top of the laptop. And I just was like, nah. In my brain, though, I have to finish that entry. Uh-huh. It's just left. I didn't sign the bottom like I normally do or nothing. So I'm just like, what? I'm going to look back at that and not know what the fuck is going on.
Fuck.
I'm afraid for anybody to ever find my journals, dude. I write down some crazy shit. Dude, I've written down, I just want to die.
Jesus, that's fucking deep.
And then I look back and I'm like, what? That on a deep level, mental problems can bring you to the brink of not even knowing who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. And those ups and downs will fuck with you so hard. There are days where I feel like I'm so on top of the world, nobody could fucking touch me. I'm the most beautiful person. I have my life together. My family's wonderful, which they always are. I have all my ducks in a row. And then I swear to God, the next day, I'll just be like, you are so fucking disgusting. You are a failure. You are not doing anything you're supposed to be doing. You're wasting your fucking life away. And it will do this shit. Yep. And those are called manic episodes. Straight up, they're very common. Manic episodes. So where you just love yourself, hate yourself, love yourself, hate yourself.
Your highs are highs and your fucking lows are lows. Like real, that's how I used to always be like that. Like, it would be hard. It still kind of is hard for me to go like on vacation because my high is so high and
you know when you come home.
Yeah, and then once I get home and back to reality and the normal fucking life again, it's like my low is low. Like that's when I really go through it is when I do have a great weekend and I've had great laughs with people that I love and care about and just had such a fun solid weekend. And then when Monday comes around the corner, it's like, because I'm not happy. The job I have right now pays the bills. It's not where I want to be. It's comfortable. I make great money, but I'm also like, there's so much more to life. So I'm like, when I go and have a great weekend, that Monday comes around, like I fucking dread, like tomorrow, like this weekend was pretty solid, but I'm like, fuck, now I'm back to the grind. I'm back to my normal.
Your grind is a little bit harder than most, though, because you're by yourself all day long at work. You have zero human interaction. And humans need that social interaction. Yeah. We're social creatures.
No, there's definitely, when I really truly think about it, there's times where if I'm not going out during the week, if I don't see anybody during the week, like I'll probably say like one or two words for the whole day. Maybe a sentence for the whole entire day.
That's so crazy to me.
Because I can't have full conversations at my job. It's like I'm the youngest person there. Everybody is very proper, and it's just like it's hard for me to actually be. I'm not myself. I'm not myself at all. I'm so closed off, and so if I'm not talking to anybody, I'm not gonna. Like I said, one sentence I'll have for the entire day. And it's a simple sentence. It's like, oh, have a good day. Or, it's like, and then I come home and then I don't talk to nobody.
And you have no animals.
No animals, nothing. So it's like, yeah, it's fucking draining. I have this thing on my phone. I don't know if I was saving it for this, but I was going through it at work and it was basically like a journal.
Are you going to read it right now?
I could read. Yeah, I could read it. I could always cut it out too.
Are you going to make me cry?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. So it says it's currently
Apparently.
it's currently 8:58 a.m. right now. I'm working my 9 to 5 job as I've been doing for what feels like an eternity. It's Friday, and I'm usually filled with excitement, looking forward to the next 2 days off before we start all over again. Today, I feel an overwhelming amount of anxiety. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but it's hard to stay focused on really anything. I bounce back to my computer for a few seconds, work, then I pick up my phone, scroll through already seen socials. The meaningless scroll where you couldn't care less what's even on the screen, but you continue to scroll anyway until the anxiety fills, and then I repeat this, or until the anxiety feels, and then I repeat the cycle. I can feel this anxiety in my chest and stomach. My heart beats faster. I feel slightly out of breath, and I can't seem to find the right music. And I don't have the time to focus or listen to a podcast, so I sit in complete silence and try to gather all my emotions.
Dude. It's
And
so
then I wrote,
crazy.
how do you work through this when you feel this way?
Dude.
But I feel like that's what I've gone through for years.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been working these jobs and trying to figure out what it is that, I don't know, like what it is I want to do. And I feel like everybody goes through this.
I have always felt, because we've known each other for so long, I have always felt like you have this, and I guess we all do, there's like a void in you that you have always tried to figure out, like what it is that you're missing in life. And sometimes that takes the joy out of the good things that you have. But when you're alone all day, there's nothing worse than loneliness for like mending any type of issue that you have. Mm-hmm. So, dude, especially when you don't want to bother your friends or your family with it, it's like you do need somebody to talk to. What was that fucking movie where Tom Hanks is stuck on the island with that volleyball?
Yeah. Wilson.
He loses
Dude,
Wilson.
it's so sad.
Dude, I bawled my eyes out. I have this immense fucking sensitive side that, like, when I feel like somebody is going through it, I cannot help but like cry for them.
I know. I didn't think that was going to be that one was like choppy in my soul to even read. I was just sitting at my computer and I was just like, dude, I fucking like, I want to run away sometimes. Like, I want to get rid of all this. I want to just get away.
Yeah. I've had that thought so many times where I just want to like literally sell everything I own and put my dogs in the car and just go and have no plan on what the fuck I'm going to run into. Because it's like when life gets so overwhelming, that's why we are fight or flight creatures. Like, you know, most of us are going to fight through it no matter what. But that flighty sense, for me especially, I will run away. Yeah. You immediately just want to run away.
Yeah, it's because you can only fight for I feel like I've been fighting for fucking years, you know? I'm like,
but then we all know, like, running away doesn't truly fix anything.
Right. So, and that's what I think.
Then you have a whole nother fucking group of issues.
Right. And that's what I think too. It's like, if I did decide to sell everything and go move to another state, it's like, and start fresh, it's like, where am I starting? Like, I feel like I'm going backwards now.
Yeah, now I'm you gotta get a new place and meet new people if you can. I don't know, man. Right. Getting lost in your own thoughts will create so much problems for everything in life. Like, you know, I know people who are a little bit aggressive every day, and it's like, I know that you're feeling aggressive because, like, there's something inside of you that you need to work out. You need to get to the bottom of, like, why do I hate everybody? Why is it that somebody telling me what to do creates such a fucking, like, fuck you, like, you have authority issues or whatever? And I have had those, and I thought that mine were from having such a strict father. Like, I don't like it when people tell me what to do, but really it was just a personal thing of, like, I don't like to feel smaller than somebody else. So when I learned that if I carry myself as an equal with everybody else, nobody could ever make me feel lower than them. And that was like a beautiful moment. Like you can be that type of person that tries to throw me under the bus any chance you get and like secretly try to make yourself win by making me look stupid. But the people who know me, and there's nothing you could ever say that will really throw me under the bus. It just makes you look like a bitch. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, man. That's why I wrote 20s are so weird.
They really are.
This is the pivotal moment in our lives, like this chapter of like really growing into adults and being who we are gonna possibly be for the next 50 years to come. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote down parents are people too, because in therapy I always would talk about, you know, like, cause that was a lot of the questions she would ask me would just be like, so what is your mom like? What is your dad like? What are your sisters like? What is your family dynamic like? Mm-hmm. And I just found myself making my parents more of like objects than actual people. And I had to learn that they are their own people. They're in their 40s. That's so young. Mm-hmm. They had their whole lives to live when I was growing up. And I literally just looked at them as like, those are my parents. I am their world. Everything they do revolves around me. Whatever they do, it's for me.
That sounds like such a bratty fucking thing to say.
But when you think of your parents, it's like, oh, that's my mom. That's my dad. Like, they are their own. They have so much more than just you. And so when you see your parents go through shit, as a kid, you're just like, what the hell is this? And then when you grow up, man, that was a quite the fucking moment for me when I had to come to terms with the fact that like my parents are battling their own demons. They're learning life as they're raising me the best they possibly can. And man, I gotta say, they did a fucking really good job for as much shit as I'm sure they went through. Mm-hmm. And it makes me, you know, if I ever become a mom someday, like, I want to be like that. Right. I always said I learned my grittiness from my dad, and I learned my loving, nurturing side from my mom. And I feel like that's the perfect balance. Mm-hmm. I'm a hard worker, but I'm a lovey bug.
Yeah, I feel I got that too.
Oh, your mom definitely got that both.
Yeah. It's like I got that from one lady.
She crazy. And she lovey. And she makes good grilled cheese sandwiches. I told her that the other day. I was like, you make me a grilled cheese. Yeah. So that was our episode on therapy, dude.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was a rough one.
I kind of like it though.
It was cool.
I think this will give people.
I thought that, yeah, I was, you know, what's funny is I wrote that down because I wrote all that and I put it like mental health and everything. I could put all that in there. But yeah, that was a weird moment. I don't know. It
blows my mind how many humans can relate to one thing. We all go through these crazy ups and downs in life, and it's like there's nothing we can really do about it except for just try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like I could have done that without therapy. And you can. So that's like, you know, I like that we have both sides.
Right. Well, it depends. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll give it a try just to, depends what I'm going through, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's never too late. Right. Never ever.
Who knows? I might benefit from it or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think anybody could benefit from it if you have the right therapist. That's why it's a little dicey.
I think it'd be good now. Fuck, it'd give me somebody to talk to.
Yeah, I like just, you know, even just before, you know, even if I had a decision to make and I could run it by her first. And then she would lay out all the things I wasn't thinking of. Like, okay, well, if you take this route, mm-hmm. what could this do to this thing or this person or this job? Or what could that do to benefit you? What could it do to hurt you? And she is probably the person that taught me about like a pros and cons list. Mm-hmm. If I'm really stuck in a dilemma, I'll just be like, is this going to hurt me in the long run or really benefit? And if it's going to hurt me, will it benefit me a little bit more? Or am I just fucking myself right now? Trying to be so smart about everything in my 20s because I don't want to make these mistakes again when I'm fucking 50, dude.
Right. Yeah, because then you don't got no time left. Time is running out.
Yeah. So go to fucking therapy if you're feeling like it, dude. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That stigma that used to be there, fuck it, man. People are always going to talk their shit, but at the end of the day, are you doing it for you or for them? Fuck them. Mm-hmm.
I say we ended on that. That was good. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Go to therapy, piece of shit.
Episode 7, you depressed motherfuckers.
I know.
We're happy, I swear.
Happy.
Sally sauce.